Should do a whole dry run from the top then. With your intro, you're starting it, right?
Right. Right. So I'll do an intro. Then you go to the live reads. I'm going to say, here's a word from friends of the show. Mm-hmm. Bang. And anytime you're talking, basically that camera is going to be on you.
Oh, okay.
Right? When you're talking, that camera will be on you. When I'm talking, the guest is talking, that camera will be.
Okay.
Is basically how it works. And again, try to keep in mind, fist away from the mic. It's a huge difference. Huge.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seems like I'm eating it.
Right. And it's going to be a little odd, this dynamic, but.
What? Oh,
when
with the guest.
sideways.
Yeah, but.
The guest.
Well, why don't we
the guest
rearrange then on guest days?
Well, the guest could still be over on this side. It could still be the three of us sitting side by side. There's room to slide down a little.
Well, either that or just switch.
You guys are live.
I suppose.
Okay, we're live.
Yeah, we can talk about it. It's all
right.
good.
Yeah, when we planned on, I was telling them most of the time, because that's why our good friend Google has its own microphone today.
Right.
Most of the time, it's not going to be all three of us in here. So
Right.
if it's just two and a guest, we could easily put them over there.
Right.
And we're both
Or would
talking
that make
to
that
them.
feel weird?
No,
No, that's a shame.
no,
That's a
so.
shame.
They're the focus.
All our guests are weird anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Facebook Live, YouTube, so on and so forth. This is a practice run for the Max Show, automotive's top performers, and more. We're in studio, and we're going to talk about all kinds of wacky stuff here today. But this is a practice run. So the first show is scheduled for Monday, April 29th. I think we're getting started at 10:30. You'll be seeing that. I'm not going to say who our first guest is. Then we're going to do two podcasts that Monday. These are, just to give you some advance information, these are long-form live streaming. These are totally unedited live streaming podcasts to YouTube, to Facebook, to our Facebook fan page, AutoMax Recruiting. Love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is AutoMax Recruiting, and to hit the like button and follow us on Facebook at AutoMax Recruiting. We have two, AutoMax Recruiting and Training and AutoMax Recruiting. This will be streamed to AutoMax Recruiting. By long form, these will have a guest or guests, plural, in-house. These could last an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever. As long as the information is interesting and we're having a good time, it could go on for quite a while. Like I said, they are unedited. We got a bunch of kind of interesting things here. We have Google in the house. Google want to say
Do we want
hi?
a joke? I think
Yeah.
we want a joke. Hey Google, tell us a joke. Don't do that, Google.
Oh, yeah, you got to turn Google on.
Hey Google, tell us a joke.
Sure, here's one of my favorites. Why does a duck have tail feathers? To cover its butt quack.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
That was awesome.
I'm
you're a
stealing
Jew,
that.
That
one.
was
That
awesome.
was good.
That was good. That's a good one to tell the grandkids. So-
Yes, that's what it's appropriate for.
Right. So we're going to use Google to when we get stumped, because we're not maybe with the exception of Joe, Ernie and I aren't that bright. So if our guests are going to be really smart people, so when they say something that we don't understand or something, we'll get Google involved and some other fun parts of the program. So what you're about to hear and see really is just going to be a conversation. It's a total practice.
I don't know how to help with that yet, but I'm trying to learn.
All right.
Easy,
Thank you,
Google.
Google.
Easy.
So we're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff here today. Some interesting, some probably not so much. But so we're gonna do some practice, and so the way the show is gonna start out, and we'll do that right now, is hello everybody, welcome to the Max Show, top automotive performers and more. And now a word from friends of the show.
Using Facebook lead generation ads plus Tacoby software, you are able to capture interested buyers and respond instantly to them using text message to keep the consumer engaged throughout the car buying process. Tacoby has the capability to follow up by text, import other lead sources, and text blast up to 500 customers at a time within minutes. Text Dan Webb at 720-707-1320 to learn more about how you can message with your new leads instantly via your Tacoby app to set appointments, bringing more people into your dealership.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Great company.
See, can we stop?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like it should just be that.
Right. And then carry on.
Because I'd already want to talk about
Right.
what,
Yeah.
Talk
what
about
we
it.
just read about.
So
Right.
go ahead. Talk
Yeah.
a little bit.
We can do that. We can do anything we want.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, unless you've been living under a rock for the past, 6 to 12 months, you should be fairly familiar with Tacoby at this point. Jason and Scarlett Gardner, and of course, our friend Dan Webb, who's also going to be on the show here in the coming months. But, I know anyone who's friends with Jason on Facebook has been following him. I think he's probably slept about 6 hours in the past 3 days doing some new programming, things that I don't understand, and based on the number of comments and likes underneath the status he's updating, I don't think anyone else understands them either. But needless to say, it's pretty awesome technology, and it's cutting edge stuff. And he's generating a stupid amount of leads for dealerships. We're actually working with one of his clients that he referred over to us, trying to help them with the new uptick in leads that they're getting to recruit new BDC reps, et cetera. So it is the real deal.
Right. And we know they're growing because they've used us, twice in the last
2 months, 2.5 months.
and not replacing people, adding
Sure.
staff, which is huge. So they're a growing company. You can't argue with the results, man.
Well, one of the things that caught my eye with this is that it's real time. As somebody is actually looking
Right.
at an ad that you spent money on,
Yep.
bang, as they're clicking on that ad, they get a response.
Yeah.
They get that is
Yeah. Yeah. Facebook done right sells cars.
right.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So you want to go to,
And then we'd go on to another read.
I don't know. We can try it. Let's try it and see how that,
We could do that.
yeah.
Why don't we? Should we name who we're going to be talking about? I felt like the transition from your intro, just saying friends of the show, and then Ernie going right into the read. I feel like it'd be stronger if you said, and now a word from one of the friends of the show, Tacoby.
Oh, okay.
Mention the brand before you start
Okay.
talking about
Or
the
I
brand.
would say now we'll
Yeah, you could do it
either
too.
way, but
right?
introduce. So on this spot, we've got the Rockstar Auto Conference, unconference events. So conferences are basically dead. So how do you pick up the right conference to go to this year? It's easy. Dealers and the hottest new companies are gravitating toward Rockstar events. They're the only auto industry events that are truly delivering new information that helps dealers rock their market and destroy their competition. If you're serious about increasing sales and profit in every department, go to rockstarinfo.com and grab a few tickets. Right now, they even include your hotel. Go to rockstarinfo.com and see why Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Ask a Millionaire, Olympic champ coach Sherry Wynn, and more are investing their time in their events.
All right. Awesome company. Matt Kenning, Chris Spear, good friends of ours, good friends of AutoMax.
Yes, sir.
We are a sponsor of those events, which is awesome. Actually, one of our recruiter trainers, Anthony Santangelo, is going to be speaking at the event in Vegas in May.
May
I forget that
13th
date.
and 14th.
13th and 14th, yeah. So that's going to be cool. I'll be out there, leg permitting, if I'm healing properly. So
And I'll be there too.
And Joe Lockard will be there.
Yeah.
So that it should be cool. So, Ernie, if you would introduce this awesome AutoMax excellent person sitting to my left. Fake person here. This is a guest. It's a guest.
So
Imagine that's a person. That's a person.
with an AutoMax excellent hat.
Right. I'm going to
Which is-
spell. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
what
to
we can
change
talk
this.
about.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
No, let's talk about. I thought we were leaving it at this point.
Well, Did you? I mean, I remember you came up with this in an email, and it jumped off the page at
but
me.
It was by accident.
Well, whatever.
I was just being corny.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you spell it? Do you recall?
Not this.
Right. It was spelled
It's
out.
not actually AutoMax Excellent. It's AutoMaxcellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That was what I said. So it'd be like
Get rid
just
of-
spelling out Automax and then CELLENT at the end. AutoMaxcellent.
Yeah.
This is one big word.
All right. Now, what? Say it again.
AutoMaxcellent.
All right. So Auto, Max, and then what?
CELLENT. It's a
right.
fake combo word, like
Like
strategic.
the X is like
Because
the,
now my autocorrect goes right to this.
you've done it so many
Right. I
times.
won't type on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it so many times.
No, I mean you ran with it so much. I wasn't going to stop and say,
Right.
"Hey, that's not how you spell AutoMaxcellent."
Right. So I told Jody, I said I want to get another group of hats. People want these crazy stupid
That's
hats.
hilarious.
So yeah, I don't know.
Well,
No,
I apologize. I was wrong. Nobody said anything about the spelling.
right.
No one
Weird.
said anything.
So
I'm just. I
But they
guess
all
we're
have to
obnoxious and
think it.
crazy.
right.
No one said anything.
No one does, and people spell it back this way.
I know.
So
I
now,
see.
well,
I
so
think-
now it's become like a thing. So now,
Yeah, it's weird. I
You
don't know what
botched
to
it, so
do.
now-
Well, let's really mess them up.
I had a conversation with Jody the other day. I said, you know what? I think we just put Automax and then spell excellent under it.
That's what I was thinking.
But
Because
no, well, hold on. See, I disagree. So,
Right.
so you have three options here. Okay,
right.
the original, which is how I think it should be, but now we're so far removed from it.
Right.
I don't know if it's got the cachet as this does. This, just because it's on the hat now and people seem to like it, and then this, but excellent underneath. But I think that with excellent underneath is like just two separate words.
yes,
Right,
it
it
is.
is.
It is.
Right. Yeah, that's
So
true.
I think it's either go to just one straight combined word or just leave it like this at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. We should.
Well, you can't fit Automaxcellent
I think you could. Big blocks.
across the whole hat. Is that? I mean, with the
She sent me.
CELL.
She sent me a bunch of designs, and
See what I'm saying?
that was about it.
I think we
look-
should just wrap it around the entire hat. Big giant black block letters all the way around. AutoMaxcellent.
Well, I could have her make up.
I
I could have
was
some.
I don't know. For me, in my head, the word is always AutoMaxcellent. But,
Yeah.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
It's your
I get
thing.
it.
You ran with it. I just
Yeah.
the brains of the
It's
operation.
become a little bit of a thing, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. Send in your votes.
But it kind of
people.
reads, yeah.
There
But
you
it kind of
go.
reads as two words anyway, though.
That's right.
So
We can
why not
have.
start
a vote.
What do you win? We pick your
hat.
idea. You get a hat. You get a stupid hat. You get a stupid automatic
Hey,
hat.
I don't know.
Right? Or
I don't
what
know
do
how
you get?
stupid it is. They're decent hats.
But
They're
it's
okay.
two words already, you know.
Right.
So if you spell it correctly, it's still just two words.
I understand, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, if you're gonna have two separate words anyway, which I think is kind of clunky, you might as well spell it wrong. Now it's like a thing.
Right. Spelling
It's
it
like,
wrong
you know,
is
all great companies have that, story of their beginning of, we accidentally did this, and then just
right. Well, think about all the words. Google. What does
yeah.
What does that mean? Like every single word.
Or they're
is
just
goofy.
cool.
There's so
Or Tacoby. I think Jason said. Jason
where
put.
did that come from?
I'll ask him. He put. Not too long ago, he mentioned it on there how he came up with it. Yeah. You're not cool unless you have a fake made up word
right.
for your company now.
Well, there you go.
All right. So let's go right to how you're going to. So we're going to come right out of the live reads. We haven't determined whether we're going to read all our sponsors because we have other sponsors, folks, other than Tacoby and Rockstar, although they're awesome. But we got, well, we'll mention them, Dealer World and, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Oh, Automotive HR and our friend Stephen Warner.
Stephen Warner.
So we have a couple other coming up here in a couple months, but those are our four main sponsors to begin this journey. So we'll play with it, So you're going to come out of one read or four reads, right? And then we're going to go right to the introduction of our guest. All right. So why don't you? Let's go ahead and practice that.
All right. So let's say our guest is Joe Lockard.
Joe Lockard.
And there's a lot of interesting things about Joe for this conversation. One, the most recent is his daughter winning third place in the Pinewood Derby districts, which
Yes.
is pretty awesome because I don't think they expected to get that high in the placement. I think they were figuring, based on our own pack or troop, I guess it is pack, I guess it is when they're den, whatever. But
Den, right.
Den.
It's a den?
A den when they're young in Cub Scouts. They did well, I guess second or third in that. And
First in the den.
Oh, first in the den. So there you go.
Third overall for the pack.
Yeah. So
Initially, the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but districts, you've got the best of the
All the third place winners and up from each den come into that over the weekend?
Well, they take the top 2 from each den. Yeah, all over the state and in Eastern Maryland as well.
All right. So
there were like 100 different cars?
No.
Oh, 60?
now see,
It was a little light.
30?
So they split it. So they split it up. So they split it up, and it's just the youngest, just the Lion Cub. So I got excited. See, I'm going to get off on something here.
Go ahead.
Now instead of the
Go.
intro.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so we show up Saturday, and I was expecting the same thing. And like you said, we were good, but we came in a little bit too far underweight. But we did a lot of other stuff to help reduce friction and aerodynamics and everything to, still place good enough to win the Lion Cubs within her pack. But I saw the scores in the overall standings that were ahead of us. I'm like, oh, we're not that fast. We're not even close. We were like 2.72, and the kid who won was like 2.66, right? And that's huge. It's a, it's a short track.
right.
So we get there, and we're racing against just the other Lion Cubs from Delaware, the first and second place winners from all the packs in Delaware and Eastern Maryland. So I was like, I'm expecting, it's 50, 100 kids or something. I'm like, let's just go have fun. So I set her up for losing. We get there. There's only 12 kids
Whoa.
in the Lion Cubs. I'm like, all right, we might have a shot. Then my friend Chris, who's one of my neighbors and is the head of one of the heads of our entire pack, he goes, you need some graphite? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So everyone's backstage
Really?
modifying cars before the race. I'm like,
way.
all right, let's go. So I'm dumping graphite on the wheels and the axles. And then, and they're even letting us add weight. So he's like, well, reweigh it. Go weigh it because sometimes humidity changes stuff. So I get up there and we're 493, and it's under 5 ounces. You have to be under 5 ounces, and it matters to the point of tenths of a second if you can add a tenth of an ounce or a hundredth of an ounce. So 493 is significantly under. So I'm like, all right, sweet. So we start scrambling. I grabbed the penny, I grabbed the dime. They were both at 502, 503. We were over. Plus you got to factor in the glue. So we're scrambling. They're like 10 minutes. I'm like, so I'm, Madeline sitting next to me. Daddy, I want to go sit down. I'm like, not now. We got to make weight. So my father-in-law finds, who's the true engineer behind all this. I just did all the research and told him what we need to do. He actually did everything. We told Madeline what we were doing along the way and why we were doing it, and I helped when I could, but he got down pretty good. So he finds a paper clip. So we put the paper clip on there. I'm scrambling. The super glues are all out because, all the other crazy dads are back there using all this stuff to doctor up their cars. And we find the hot glue gun, so I just messy job of hot glue gun on there. Anyway, short story long, got it up to 498, which I was happy with. I was like, good, throw it out there. And we ran fast. We didn't have anything at 2.7. We were sub 2.7 on all our runs. We were like, 6.9, 6.8. And then of course there's, I don't know how this kid did it, but he's running like 2.64s or something. So I told Maddie, I thought we missed second by 0.003 of a second.
Wow.
I was pretty sure we had second. We finished third. And because she's my daughter, she was 0%, about 10% pleased with, I shouldn't say 0, she's about 10% pleased with third place. All these people coming up to her, she was the only girl there, and she's got her little glitter car and stuff. So everyone's all happy for her, and I didn't get another trophy, and I didn't win, but she started to lighten up as the day went on.
Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Yeah.
It was really cool. We know a lot for next year. The problem is to be really fast, you can't have your car look nice. It's got to be a flat board like this. It's got all the weight on it has to be almost 80%, 90% from lead weights instead of the wood of the actual car. So you trim the wood down to 3/8 of an inch, just a flat wedge the whole way.
Really?
And it's like, yeah. I mean, those were the best cars. The ugliest cars were the best cars. So I wanted it to look kind of nice, but overall good experience. Luckily, we didn't take first or second because we would have qualified for nationals in New York City. And I looked at Christina, my wife, and I said, no way we're going to New York City. She goes, don't let her here because if she finds out, and Maddie already knows about New York City. She knows, she hears about New York City and she sees the pictures and she's obsessed with the Statue of Liberty. So having said that, we probably would have ended up in New York City for Pinewood Derby Nationals.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting. When I was a kid, we raced in that, and I did win one time early on. And then when Alex was a cub for a short period of time, we did win the first time we went through.
Yeah, I
that.
remember you telling me.
So, I didn't do the research of that. I just kind of followed what
you
my
could
dad
have
had
back
done.
then. I mean,
Right, exactly.
had to actually know and be smart.
Right.
Now you're just following a blueprint.
But like you were saying with the weights, like we had weights right over the front wheel, kind of initiate and then some over the back wheel as well.
See,
Axle, I should say.
so it's just the back. So about a
okay.
quarter inch from the rear axles is the ideal spot. You want to pile on as much weight as you possibly can there. I mean, you want it to be evenly distributed too, but more towards the back because you want kinetic energy. It's all about potential energy, stored energy. So you put it at the front end, you're kind of blowing your load right at the get-go. So you
Okay.
need it in the back to keep feeding the whole
momentum.
way down the track, right?
Do you remember the name of your car?
No, I didn't have a name for it.
Yeah, mine was the Lucky Penny. It was blue and gold, and it had a penny on the hood.
Yeah.
Which would now, with you saying what you're saying, that when not a good
No.
move. It did well. I didn't win it all, but it was.
Yeah,
But there were hundreds.
Yeah, when I did it, it was an
Right.
all-day event.
Right.
It was huge. But you don't remember, I did the Lucky Penny too.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and it was awful.
Right. Yeah,
We knew it. It was like a big block of wood with
wreck.
pennies all over it. I didn't win a race, and that was part of why I was excited about this, and I think she got so excited about this is because I didn't win a single race in I
Right.
think 3 years of doing the dirt.
Right. Where was that at St. Michael's?
St. Mike's in the basement. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more intense back in the day. It's all head-to-head racing. They do time trials now, which is the most accurate way to do it.
That's right.
But it was double
That's
elimination
right.
head-to-head. So it was
Right.
like,
Right.
I mean, you're edge of your seat
Yeah,
stuff.
That's right.
And the Wakeham's always won. Another
Yeah.
a client of ours, Wacom Auto Group, Massillon, Ohio, really good people. Yeah, they kicked everybody's butts.
Yeah. Those kids cheated though.
Yeah.
The Wacom kids. They're all my buddies. They were nuts.
Yeah.
They were crazy as me back then, I think. They cheated.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was Craig versus George every year in the final, pretty much.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I know we always did the axles, and you said the graphite. That was definitely a key.
The graphite's been
Without
around
that.
for a while, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. They allowed you that's performance enhancing drugs on a car.
Yeah.
Oh, but they definitely let you do it. I was just surprised, though, that they were quarantined, you said, basically.
You're not supposed to at districts.
Yeah.
Your car's supposed to stay the same all the way through, but it must be one of these hush-hush things where everyone kind of does it.
All
I
right,
don't know.
so obviously we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it would just be a straight intro. normally.
Right,
Yeah.
just a straight intro.
Without
right.
the Pinewood Derby
Right.
discussion.
We want to go
Which is
really in depth with the introduction.
Okay.
I mean, like really in depth, like you did at the AutoMax Synergy conference in November at Seaview or whatever.
Anti-plug for Seaview, by the way.
Yeah, anti-plug.
Can we do anti-plugs?
Yeah, anti-plug. Yeah. Do not go to what used to be the Seaview Marriott.
Seaview Hotel.
in Amsterdam.
Galloway,
It's
New
under
Jersey.
new ownership.
Horrible.
Don't go.
Don't go. Horrible. Horrible. Terrible.
Can we get
people.
sued for that? Is that slander?
I don't care.
They have to prove damages. If their sales fall off here in the next month, we might be hearing from their lawyers.
I've spent probably $100,000. We've spent probably $100,000
We do all our trading
there,
there, right.
and got treated like it was
A common.
bad.
Yeah,
I
was
had to go
rough.
old school Craig Lockard on him for a few minutes
that was rough.
one day, but never it was an awesome time. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was
Everybody
good.
get together. But remember how you did Lisa Copeland's introduction, and she was like, "What? Like, how did you find out?" And basically, it was all on her LinkedIn, or you did some obviously
LinkedIn, Google,
Right.
Just
right,
looked
but
up as much as
Memorize the whole thing.
and memorized it, which is like mind blowing. Which would be cool. It would be what would be perfect world, Ernie, is if you could, and I think we keep them at 15 or 30-second spots. And if you could memorize that
Those I can. I don't know about an entire
and
introduction.
then right into the camera, like eyeball right to the camera, that's a perfect world if we can do that.
Those can be done, 15, 30-second ones, yeah.
Right.
A whole thing for a guest, I don't know
That's
that
too hard.
I'm...
No. No, I don't, and I don't think anybody would expect that. Again, that's a perfect world, but it could be literally impossible. Although you do have a pretty. I remember. Do you remember the one cruise, the company cruise we took, and it was set up like a theater, right? That room we were in with a stage, and right, and I don't. How many people were in there? Were there 60, 70 people?
I'm going to say yeah.
And you introduced every single person to the other.
Right. Person sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Like 70 people, man. It was like, I didn't know you were doing that. I'm like on stage ready to talk, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You got a standing ovation. It was insane, man.
There's two things interesting about that, though. I used to use that in the campaigns.
Right, me too.
The very first day,
Right.
I'd introduce the person sitting beside them. And
Right.
that was all gained from the interview I had with them to invite them. Now, it was a little easier back then because you could look at their driver's license.
Yeah.
So I had a visual.
Yeah.
But I also, in my mind, when I interviewed somebody, I made a quick note kind of in my mind of what they wore, what they looked like.
Right.
What's different at the conference was I've learned through these classes that people are very much creatures of habit. So when they came in the first day for our recruiting campaigns,
Right.
where they sat is where they were going to sit the next day.
Yeah, that's true.
So the same thing in my mind when we were in that cruise, in that theater, every single person basically from the first day we were all in that theater.
Yes.
All right, so I watched and I looked and I kind of went through it in my mind. So-and-so, so-and-so, meet so-and-so, meet, all the way through.
Right.
Damn, if that most people didn't sit exactly in the same seats.
Yeah.
So the whole 60 group of people were already in my mind. Now,
Right.
there were some people that moved differently, but I still knew who, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was,
Yeah.
I find that powerful, though,
Yeah.
when people, when you know who they are,
Right.
that connection.
Right. Well, do you remember, when I trained you to do this, it was you take a copy of their driver's license, right, which is illegal,
Now, yeah.
right, and then I told you to write down their name next to the picture 10 times, right, and then say it out loud 10 times while you're looking at the picture, and it was, because I did the same thing, but it's smaller scale, 175. Well, although some of those classes were pretty large, but
Could
not
be.
75.
No, I didn't have ever heard that.
Right. So, what I'm going to do then? Let's see.
Well, you want, going back to your point real
Right,
quick
right.
with the intro.
Right.
It is important that we, edify the person that we're going to talk to,
Absolutely.
and that they feel as if we are connected with them. We know who they are. Respect that they're here. So you got to give them a little, due diligence of
Right.
preparing for who they are, but at the same time, we're trying to give a little to the audience of somewhat of what they might expect to hear
Yeah.
as they tune in. So that was my thinking.
Yeah.
So it'd be helpful with the guest to provide as much of what's important to them. And Joe and I came up with some questions that we thought pre-interview, perhaps they'd be willing to answer.
All right.
Yeah, some casual, personal stuff.
Because we
too,
need to
so
talk
it's-
about that today.
so
Okay.
It's fun.
All right. So I haven't seen it yet, but Michael Cirillo, Flex Dealer, Dealer Playbook. Listen to his podcast. It's absolutely awesome. I was actually on the second podcast he ever did. And I was on again later sometime, but listen to Michael Cirillo's podcast. But at any rate, he's going to be handling post-production of this show, the clips, and loading it to our website. There's going to be a special page on AutoMax recruitingandtraining.com, and put it everywhere. I have those notes. I'll go over. There's different levels that we should talk about today. So I've talked to several people, and they totally disagree with you too about pre-interviews. Okay, now here, and let me tell you. Let me tell you one story that Cirillo told me. He was he had a podcast, and I forget what he said exactly. It was maybe 30 minutes into the podcast, discovered it was not recording. So they stopped, and it was, I guess the first 30 minutes was just brilliant.
Right.
Right.
I know where you're going.
It went back, tried to recreate it, and he said it was just crap. Now and then to go one step further, just with Michael, he told me a story. He had on I'll probably screw this up, but I forget where she was from, a woman, I think former model, that was selling Bugattis, I think in New York City, whatever, just makes a fortune. Had her on a show, knew like almost nothing about her, And he said it was just a brilliant podcast. So now, in saying that, he hasn't sent it to me yet. I'm going to be on a show here in the next couple of weeks, I think, or prior to our first show at any rate. Okay. So, but he's going to provide us with, it's like a booking form that our guest will be sent prior to the show that will ask certain questions about them, right? And I think we can add to that so we do have an idea. Because I think it's important, one of the things that I think is important is, are there topics they just absolutely don't want to delve into? I don't want to put anybody on a spot in here. This is a conversation. So we're interested. I want to be able to learn. We had some really smart people, man, lined up.
Yeah, well, and part of that was why, and I see what you're saying, and you're right. And it's for the spontaneity, and we can save our questions for talking points for when they're actually on, so we're not blowing our load prior to it. Right. But what you just said was part of the reason that we wanted to do it, because we do. Did
you just say blowing your load?
I throw that around a lot, like it's a casual thing now. You'll probably hear me say blowing my load like 10 times on this podcast.
That's my boy.
It doesn't even. It's not even a dirty thing when I say it anymore. Right. That's how. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I think that probably started as more of a gun reference, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think that started as perverted.
Right.
Didn't start.
Anyway.
Right.
So
this is the internet. We can get away with most
anything.
I
don't. Yeah. Right. Fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah. There you go.
So anyway.
That's right. That's the first F-bomb you've heard from the Max Show.
And a few of our guests, we're going to keep counters because we got a few swears coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Matt's a swear.
Yep.
Matt will drop a few.
Right. Frank Lopes.
Frank will drop a few. But so talking about Matt and Frank, and I know both of them, but part of the reason we wanted to do a pre-interview is we have some big-time people coming on that I know Ernie and myself have never even spoke to. I just want to build up a little, familiarity. But, I guess the spontaneity works, too, to where everyone else should be privy to that conversation where we're getting to know them, and that's kind of what you do.
Yeah. And you know what, Joe, like you just said, those questions that we had we can still ask them.
Yeah, sure.
During the show.
So, of course. Well, absolutely. I mean, that's important. And I think the way, here's the way, and this is kind of letting the cat out of the bag, but probably very few people are going to be watching this or hearing this. So
nonsense. Everybody's watching.
Yeah, everybody.
This will be shown.
So what I'm going to do is start off with just a completely off the wall question, so Ernie, I hear that, and it's going to be something just totally obscure, has nothing to do with anything. I have one planned out for everybody, not everybody. We've got 30 people have said yes to being on the show. But I'm going to it's going to be some totally off the wall thing, just completely, let's see if I can think of an example right off the top of my head. So Ernie, let me ask you, is it true what I've heard that I guess Bernie Sanders is going to be staying at your home during the next his next run for the presidency? Is that true? But it'll be something along those lines. I got a great one for Chris Walsh. He might punch me. I got a few that are pretty interesting. One for Mr. Benstock should get him all riled up and
it's
so
just
forth.
A start.
Yeah, one for Troy and so forth. They're kind of funny. But so I'm going to start with that, and then just bang, man, just get right into it. Now, in discussing this interview, and how the conversation rolls and so forth, to give an example, and I know who told me this. You had a conversation with somebody here recently, and they said, "Well, that's kind of like a podcast." Who was that? Who was that phone conversation with? I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know.
I don't know if it was Matt or.
Whitney, maybe. No.
I'm not sure. But anyway, Troy Spring and I had a, I don't know, hour and a half phone conversation, 3 weeks ago. And it was like about an hour into it, I said, dude, this is a podcast. I mean, that's the way the conversation,
Yeah.
it just kind of happened. And that's kind of our goal here. Is we
Sure.
just want it to just kind of happen, not forced interviews.
I'm with you.
You know, really allow the guest to be in the comfort zone, but be able to let him or her fully express themselves, and let's really find out about these people. What makes these top performers top performers? Why are they in their field, do so well in their field? Because I mean, literally, the people that have said yes to us are like, and they're all over the spectrum, from owners of dealerships, top level management, executive management, middle management, salespeople, top performing salespeople, people from other industries.
Yeah, definitely go outside the industry.
Yeah, our friends. We're going to have a couple doctor friends of ours on, and
buddy of mine's doctor of physical therapy. He's an absolute genius.
Unbelievable.
A lot of fun to talk to.
Right.
And another orthopedic doctor, friend of ours, does some anti-aging stuff, PRP shots. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really will be. And just how our physiology ties into our psychology and actions for top performers. And so that'll be an interesting show. People got somebody from a big ad agency that's in New York that's going to be on the show, and that actually started through an AutoMax class 18, 19 years ago, and now is a big-time ad guy in New York City with a big agency. And a good friend of ours, so that should be an interesting show as well. So, yeah, the pre-interview thing. As soon as Michael sends me that, I'll just have him CC you guys on it, so you can see what the guest is going to see, because it is some preliminary information. So
it's along the lines of what you and I.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to. We're not going to go into this guest like we don't have any clue. Like, not the three of us have no clue who this person is. It's just that's not going to happen. It'll just flow. You guys talk amongst yourself, or I got to look over my notes here and see what we can go over here and what we can't. But.
Okay. And the personal side stuff is where I wanted to dig in more. And again, it's better to save it for the show. But a lot of my talking points are going to be to that end. Because I think especially in our industry, everybody gets so busy, and a lot of what you do on Facebook is making sure everyone knows what you do. We talk about the importance of people being able to come to your page and actually know what you do. But at the same time, it's every single one of these people are people and with stories and personalities and leisure activities. I'm going to try and dig on that a little bit more, and I think it'd be nice for everybody too. It's, kind of a nice break. I kind of laughed when we were putting all this together. We didn't know how that was going to go. We still don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
We don't know what it'll become. But, my one thing was, regardless of what it becomes, we all work from home and we get kind of isolated. And I said, I'm looking at it as a nice chance to get the hell out of the house and talk to other human beings in person and shoot the shit for a few hours. So,
What, rather than me at the end of the day, Carol gets home and let's go over to Home Depot just to walk around.
Right. I had this conversation this weekend with my neighbor because he used to work from home. And I'm like, dude, I do the grocery shopping. And I'll get dressed up too. I'm putting on the nicest clothes I have. I'm like, go anywhere, literally anywhere.
Hey, it's hard. I mean, our team members, we have an amazing team. Just we're really, truly blessed. Shout out to all the AutoMax team members. They're
sure
amazing. They all seem lovely to. Wow, that was maybe too.
I was
close.
going to tell you. I think it's because you're coming in sideways.
Oh, maybe.
If you could turn it, bring it out a little bit,
or maybe the whole thing.
Swing it towards you. Well, I was just saying.
Or just pull this back and then it's. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
Just turn it towards you a little bit.
Okay.
No, I didn't do it.
I think you have to move it back, but like Joe's saying, the angle of the like that. You know what I mean? But
because once you pull this out,
it tips the balance.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that was just more.
Can you
were
turn?
like right on top.
But can you
Right.
turn
So if
this
you move it
like
up-
That's
that?
what I meant.
Yeah, this-
Can you angle that at 90 degrees? That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam from All Systems Go AV.
Yeah.
All right, helping us produce the show.
First
and,
producer
if you need
appearance.
to,
Right.
just move that back like that.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to go.
And This is their studio. Place is awesome.
Yeah,
Again,
really
it's
cool.
all systems go AV. So you're in the Philadelphia area. I guess if you're anywhere, call these guys. I would assume they'll take your money if it's a good project.
Yeah.
But they're first class, great place.
Well, they travel. They've gone
Right,
down
yeah.
to Washington, D.C., and doing stuff like
Right.
that. So
Yeah, yeah, they do any
New
number
York.
of things.
It's not just right here in Philly.
Right.
Yeah, no, Joe. It is at the end of the day, it is good to get out. And so
Yeah,
this,
for sure.
This
No,
getting out.
anything.
Well, like I was saying, it's like they all the team members, all the employees, seem to love it. Right, working from home.
It's
It's
tough.
a challenge for me, man.
It takes a rare person, and everyone loves the
It's a learning
flexibility.
curve.
I mean, there's no. I get to do things with my daughters that no other dad on the planet gets to do.
Right.
I don't miss anything. I
Right.
really don't. I mean, we go to the little homeroom parties for Valentine's Day and everything. I'm the only dad there. It's
Right,
like
yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's priceless. So I'm not sitting here complaining.
Right.
It's just not waking up, showering, putting on nice clothes, leaving the house, listening to the radio or music, drinking a coffee, and parking and going in somewhere else to work is challenging, to say the least.
And expensive. You got to think about, when you're working from home, that's a lot of savings.
Mm-hmm.
Gas,
Right.
clothing,
Yep.
dry cleaning out, depending on what the situation is. I mean, there's food.
Food for sure. I
right?
can't imagine not being able to just stop in the middle of the day and make whatever I want to eat.
Right?
Can't
Instead
imagine.
of spending $12 on a whatever piece, junk food at,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how
at the
people do it.
office.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it for years, and it was a challenge. We had 2 offices at one time, so
Right.
brick and mortars. So
Right.
that was a challenge.
I
Want to talk
treat-
about Alpine, Utah at all?
I treated that more or less like working from home anyway.
yeah.
I
Bare
just
feet.
kind of roll out of bed 30 minutes before we start.
Yeah,
grab
yeah.
my leftovers or make a tuna shake. Tuna shakes, everybody. Tuna shakes. When you're really trying to get tuned in to your
Make
diet.
puke, man.
Little oatmeal,
No.
some
No.
No.
Crystal Light or a beverage, some spinach, a couple cans of tuna.
Oh God.
Boom.
If there was a good thing
Cutting
about
season.
Alpine, it was
Yeah.
your buddy Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
may he rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
That man
He made
was
being
the funniest man.
Yeah, I heard
I-
the story.
in my
I heard the
life.
story from the drive out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the drive out.
He drove through Chicago.
Oh my God. so it is kind of a funny story. So
Very funny.
we get a call. I don't know. It might have been in the middle of the night. We had, what do we have? 12, 15 employees in that building. And
Yeah,
it was
that
like,
sounds right.
and in Alpine, Utah, which is right outside of Salt Lake City. And it was basically a call center and,
Yeah.
and so forth. They really made everything happen. And either myself or my former business partner got a call, frantic call. It's total mutiny. Like no one's going to show up at work tomorrow, right? So I called Ernie, my former partner, and Paul Kell, may he rest
Yeah.
in peace, my best friend for years, passed a few years ago, and said, we have to drive to Utah right now, right?
It was literally the next day, basically.
The
2
next
days.
day.
It was-
Whose car? We had
it
a
was
bunch of
the
company
Camry.
cars.
It was the
Yeah.
Camry that Joe ended up.
Right. Whose was
owning.
that before? Was that yours
No,
or was
that
that?
was-
No, the other guy.
Oh, that was
Gene.
Gene's.
Gene. Yes.
Right. So we, so Ernie and I and my former partner start from New Jersey, Philadelphia, and then we pick up Paul on the way, and
Right.
he's in Ohio. So to go literally from New Jersey to Salt Lake City, Utah, it is one road. It is 80 west.
Right.
There are no turns.
Right.
Right. So we're driving, taking turns, and going. Literally, we're taking this old Camry like 100 miles an hour constantly.
Paul so much wanted to drive. Like I was driving
Oh.
for like a couple hours, like I think you started it. And then I took over for you in Ohio or something like that. So I'd only been driving for, I don't know, 2 hours or something. Paul's like, oh, I want to drive. I want to drive. I want to drive. And you were like, Paul, don't you dare make any turns anywhere. Route 80 is the only road. 80, follow it. Route 80. All right, Paul. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I got it, Craig. No worries.
Right. I'm not stupid. I'm not some sort of meathead, which is what I call them constantly.
You fall asleep in the back. Glenn, he falls asleep in the back, so it's Paul and I, and it's getting dark, and we're just having the conversation.
Right.
Next thing you know, he's behind this truck, right through where it all gets to like congested. Well, sure enough, he misses 80 to stay on 80.
I woke up.
Well, but when you woke
Right.
up, it was already way too late.
Yeah. Well, here's how too late it was.
Yeah.
I said, that is the freaking Sears Tower, Paul.
We were downtown Chicago.
Downtown
We were-
freaking
yeah,
Chicago.
we were-
Yeah.
I said,
And that's some of the
"You
worst traffic in the country.
So for
Well,
an hour on, you moron, you are a complete knucklehead. You cannot.
And where we had to so we're there, and then we had to turn around and get out, but it wasn't so easy. Like we
No.
didn't know exactly where we were, and where we stopped
Well, it
to
was
ask for
bad.
directions.
Yeah, sure.
It was
Whoa!
bad. Yeah.
We were way out of place.
Yeah, we
Shouldn't
were
have
not
been
where
there.
we should not have been
As
there.
they kept telling us, like,
Right. Yeah, you guys should not be here.
yeah, get out now.
Yeah. Yeah, because we stopped for gas or something.
Yeah, we needed it.
It was like, Paul, there's no turns. No turns. And we end up in downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, I wake up and I see,
Yeah.
oh, I've been there before. Oh, that's a Sears Tower. Well, how could that be the Sears Tower?
Had you not even said that or saw we
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
we
Yeah,
would have been
we'd
in
have been in the
Wisconsin.
Sears Tower.
We would have been past Chicago.
Knucklehead. Oh my God, he's a funny person.
Oh,
man.
he was a crack up.
He killed me. He was so funny.
I spent that summer out there, and he's just the things he would say after a day of work or going into work or while just where he comes up where I have no idea, but I can just tell you my stomach got stronger, from my abs because I laughed so much.
Well, yeah, and it's if everybody knew Paul, it'd be better because
Right.
you're Paul Kell and Mormons in Utah.
Right.
is
Oh.
just
Yeah, it didn't go together.
No.
No, he's pretty politically incorrect, but
Yeah.
in a lot of different ways. He was a trip, man. He was really a trip. I hired him when I was running a Cadillac store at Gump Cadillac Olds, and he was, 20 years old, worked at this, selling used cars out of a trailer on a hill in Alliance. And on Route 62, and he comes in with cowboy boots and this and that, thinking he's all this. He's like 20 years old. I said, first of all, go home and wear big boy shoes. Do you have actual shoes? This is a Cadillac dealership, dude. And I took him under my wing. We were best friends and for 30 some
Yeah.
years, until he passed. So awesome guy. So. Michael Cirillo said, looking really good. Thank you, Michael.
hey,
Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. Thank you much.
Michael is a genius.
Yeah.
If you ever want to feel a little less smart, call up Michael and talk to him for about 30 minutes. If you think getting a little too,
Yeah.
a little too
Big for your britches?
yeah, a little too big for your britches. I'm doing great. Call up Michael.
Right. Yeah.
Smart
him and I were on the phone for an hour and a half, like that was last week before, whatever. And it was like, I'm trying to take notes.
Sure.
I have this piece of paper, right? I'm trying to take notes, and it's like, okay, well, I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. So
Yeah, you got to circle back.
Right.
The few conversations we've had, I'll be like, okay, so what you're saying is, and I cliff note to go back over what was said and,
Right.
and make sure
Yeah.
it's what was actually the point he's trying to get across. But
Yeah.
yeah, sharp dude.
Well, thank you, Michael. We actually, I don't know if you heard earlier, but we talked about the pre-interview thing. So, hey, listen, if you could get that booking form out to myself, Ernie, and Joe, that'd be awesome. So we can take a look at it. And plus, we have to get that out because I got a bunch of guests I got to get formally booked that have said yes and get the dates. So if you could, the one that you use. And I don't know, you have our credit card, so go ahead.
How cool is 2019? You're literally just sitting there talking in the microphone, talking to Michael. Although your phone's right in front of you, you can shoot him a text message, or you can talk to him on the microphone, look up at the camera, talk to Michael.
Right.
It's like there's
Right.
8 different ways to get a message
Right.
to him instantly.
Robots are next.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Robots are next.
Yeah,
What was
let's not talk about that.
What was it called? Skynet?
Yeah.
From
Yeah, I
the
think so, right?
Terminator?
Yeah.
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 It's coming.
Yeah, we're going to be, Terminator's going to be our 1984 as we get older. Be like, Terminator was right. It's all coming true.
Hey,
Robots
what's
are
the? I mean,
taking over.
they're communicating now. Robots are
Right.
communicating with other robots
Yeah.
now. I mean,
There you go. He's replying.
they're going to get smarter than us. I feel the same way when I talk to you guys. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. All right. Nice try, Michael.
He's Canadian. He's being friendly.
That's right.
He's just being nice.
One of those friendly Canadian guys.
They have to be nice.
Jeez.
Culture.
You're right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, no, we're not that smart. But that's why we have Hey Google here. Do you want
it's
to give
been
Hey
a while.
Google? Is she on?
Yeah, always on. Stays on. Hey Google, how tall is the Sears Tower?
The Willis Tower is
Willis Tower?
1,453 feet tall.
Where's the Willis Tower? Hey Google, where's the Willis Tower?
The address for Willis Tower is 233 South Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois.
What are the odds?
That's weird.
Huh? Let's try it again.
She was listening. The robots.
It's
Kinda
always listening.
Skynet, dude.
Have you seen that meme, by the way, where it's like 1950 wiretaps, and it's, police, and they're in a van and stuff, and then 2018 wiretaps, Google Assistant on
Yes.
someone's
Yeah.
countertop.
Well, that was kind of weird.
That was weird. Hey Google, how tall is the Sears Tower?
The Willis Tower is
What in-
1,000.
Oh, did it get renamed? I bet we're idiots.
Oh,
Look, we're sitting here laughing at Google. Here,
We're
there you go.
idiots.
Robots are taking over.
You're right.
Well, hold on. Let me.
So
let me-
to your
let's
point,
let's
though,
find
Google
out.
is smarter than we are.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
No
We're
doubt.
laughing at it. Oh, what's the Willis Tower? Hey Google, what is the Sears Tower now called?
On the website money.cnn.com, they say
It is the
the
Willis.
Willis Tower was renamed in 2009 after
Unbelievable.
the insurance broker
9 years
Willis
ago.
Group Holdings leased the naming rights.
Makes sense. Sears isn't really a
That is-
thing.
yeah.
Chicago's tallest building, Willis Tower, sells for $1.3 billion.
That's really funny. I apologize, Google.
Yeah, we're sorry. That's funny. That is too.
Is that going to be
Funny.
our name? Just Google? Or
We can give it a name, but you have to say, "Hey Google," to prompt it. So yeah, if you want to give it a name, we can certainly give it a name. And I know it's cool, Alexa and Siri, but I go for functionality. And
I see.
this one had good reviews, and I like the Google Assist.
Let me just, this will be relatively boring, but let me just go over. So during my conversation with Michael, him and his folks at Flex Dealer are going to be setting up the iTunes account, Google Play, Stitcher. I have Spotify written down here. I don't know if I have a question mark next to that. And I'm wondering, Michael, I don't think you and I talked about this, but it came up on a podcast. I was on Everell Reed's podcast Saturday evening, and he brought up SoundCloud. So I don't know if that's something that we need to sign up for as well. All those things, they're all monthly charges. They're not a lot, but it's like, I think Michael said like $20-$30
Oh wow!
per month. Yeah.
For all of them?
No, each.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Crazy. I've never even heard of the other ones.
Yeah, so this a significant cost when all this is said and done. Marketing plan. I'm going to be shooting some videos in our studio. Either Joanna's going to be shooting them either tomorrow, probably more likely Thursday. So we'll give you, the audience, some information about what these podcasts are going to be, over and above what we're doing today. How many is too many? In the research I've done, this is kind of interesting, actually. If you look up how many podcasts there are right now in the U.S., 550,000 podcasts. Right? So now, what does ours do? It's like, and people listen to podcasts 4 to 5 hours a week that listen to podcasts.
God bless you, people. I don't know what
Time was, right?
But here's why. They're traveling, so
Yeah,
back and
it's
forth
something
to
you
work.
can do while you're working. I
Right.
guess.
And that leads into, typically, they're 30 to 45
Right.
minutes long
Right,
because of what you just said.
right.
Because of drive time, or gives them
That's true. They're
Or
not
you're
sitting there
working
and
out.
listening to the entire thing. They're just catching little bits through the
Correct.
course of the day.
right, or they're working out, or get away from their husband for 30, 45 minutes, or
Right.
vice versa, or significant other, whatever the case might be. But this long form, I mean, you can go in and do it like, I've been a nut with Rogan, and I've been watching a lot of Jordan Peterson, and then just recently Bert Weinstein, who was in that.
Eric Weinstein.
Eric, no, Bert.
Is it Bert?
There is an Eric, but
Okay.
Bert Weinstein was a professor during the Evergreen situation west, where the students actually took over the campus. It was a real racially charged thing, and he was in the middle of it. Ended up settling with them. It was a horrible situation. It was a super bright guy. Biologist, cultural biologist, I think. Super smart guy. Just like wrecks my brain. Like you and I were talking the other day about Jordan Peterson. It was like, I mean, it's like I get a headache. He's so smart. It's like I got to watch it twice. I have no clue what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's not entirely true, but it's like these are really crazy
That
smart
makes you
guys.
think so much.
Yeah, but I've been watching so much of this stuff, man. But so when I read that 550,000, I'm going, oh, geez, we're just average guys, and, running a company, and what do we bring? With that much clutter and that much space, then right under that article, I read an article that per year there's over 2 million books published. So you know how it's like, I want to read this book. You can never get,
Right.
You can't read them. If you read 10 or 15 a year, it's probably a lot, right? So, I mean, there's per year. So 550,000 podcasts in different forms. I think ours will be unusual. Well, no, not. I think it is unusual because there is basically, within reason, no time limit on it. So, and we have basically our own Facebook Live show with Anthony Santangelo. Did you hire him dead or kill him after you got him? But it's a dead stop in an hour, typically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and an hour seems like a long time, but we've probably been here an hour already.
Sure, yeah. No,
And
we could. Are you kidding me? You throw another person in this room,
Right.
bring some food in.
Right.
We'll be here all day.
Yeah, we are. We're going to bring food, so I guess whatever our guests want.
You can achieve a more in-depth conversation. You can get far more information.
Yeah, let's stuff go in directions. Instead
right,
of
and dig
stopping
into
it.
stuff where you can't do in a 30-minute podcast. Those
No.
are more for, I don't know, a quick pointer show, let's say.
Right.
Sorry
This we're
about
trying
that.
to really dig in and get
It's exactly right. It'd be like ask a question, get an answer.
right.
On to the next question, get an answer. This, depending on the question and where we go with this, it's just like the guest could go on for 30 minutes. We'll just sit here and listen,
Right.
which is something we have to be good listeners. And sometimes important we don't interrupt and so on and so forth.
Well, for what we do every day, we have to listen.
Yeah.
I've become a much better listener through time. You ask the questions, you got to hear the answer
Yeah.
of what their
Yeah,
challenges.
I think
Yeah.
Ernie and I, just through our day-to-day duties,
Yeah.
responsibilities with the company now, it's like that's a majority of what we do when we're on a call. And obviously, we get our stuff out and let them know what it is we're offering and what we are, what we do. But that's my strongest form of selling, I'd say, is listening. Is just you let them go.
Right.
Tell me what hurts. Tell me
Right,
where it hurts.
right.
Tell me what you got going on. By the time you get to the end and they're done telling you what's wrong, they don't have a choice but to listen to you and listen to your solution.
and want it. I want to take advantage of what you're offering them.
Right.
Right. Well, I'm going to butcher the quote, but I think it's a Covey quote where he says, "Listen to understand rather than to reply."
Right.
Right. Listen to understand the person that you're speaking with,
Right.
rather than thinking of how you're going to reply,
Yep.
which is hard to do.
You learn. There's a skill to that.
I would think.
Yeah. No, we won't be short on things to talk about.
No,
that's for
because
sure.
and think about it. We were talking. We want to get to know the guest on a personal level.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be
But then you also want to get to know them on what's their performance level.
watching
So-
ourselves,
Yeah.
watching ourselves,
Watching ourselves,
watching
watching-
ourselves.
Yeah.
Hold it back up so
That's
I
all
can be
right.
watching myself, watching myself.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see.
So that's on.
It appears
Our YouTube?
it appears frozen on Facebook, but
Oh, Facebook.
5 comments, 2 shares. Well, somebody's watching. Troy Spring, Israel, Danielle, Jason, Bobby Stevens. My pal, Bobby Stevens. So, okay, let me just go
Yeah, go
through these with you guys. So, okay, so Michael's going to be setting up all those audio things, and then like a branding page, like a page. When you guys, you could Google it now, but take a look at Dealer Playbooks, his podcast, Dealer Playbook. Listen to it; it's awesome. And Michael's going to, I believe, I don't know when. I think this is okay for me to say, Michael. If not, I'll just ask for your forgiveness instead of permission up front. But I think Michael's going to probably be doing video streaming here. They just moved, and when he gets thoroughly set up, I think he's going to do that. But he has an awesome audio podcast. But however, he's going to be setting all those up in a page for it. Are we totally okay with the name? I mean, it obviously makes sense to us, and it's cute. AutoMax Recruiting and Training, or AutoMax Recruiting, and the name of the show being the one-word Max Show. And then with a subtitle, Automotive Top Performers and More, as a what is that called? Tagline or whatever.
How about Automotive Elite and more?
Automotive Elite.
I like the top performers.
Oh,
That's simple.
Elite performers or top performers?
I was trying to make it less wordy. The tagline. That's all I'm trying to do. Chop it down a little.
So what did I say?
Top
Automotive
performers.
Top Performers and More?
That's fine. But again, coming back to, we named our company AutoMax. I talked to Steve, and he named his company Automoto HR. You kind of lock yourself in,
You do.
because we really do. And again, as we build audience and stuff, we are going to focus on automotive. We know where our niche is, and we know where our focus is. But again, I want the show to kind of be a nice break for us. Everybody in this industry works 60 plus hours a week. It'd be nice to not have to listen to car talk all the time. And we're certainly going to give a ton of good information and have some of the top people in the industry on. But it'd be nice to talk about other stuff too. And it'll always circle back. It's not like we're going to be talking about, completely random stuff or get off on political and religious rants or anything. But it's nice to hear some fun stuff too. So.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing a little.
I guess that's the and more.
Right. Yeah. 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 Well, that allows us to bring in our doctor friends and so forth too. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing some sports trivia, and we have amazing prizes, and I mean, this is top notch merchandise. I mean, really cool, like really awesome prizes that our guests can win if they have any sports knowledge whatsoever. And then, do you want to talk about what we talked about this morning?
We're going to do another bit. I still have to come up with a name for it. Basically, we're going to read off 3 statements, and they'll pertain again to the industry, to us, to which host is in house, my dad, Ernie, or myself. It'll be one statement about us that is true, or just one statement in general that's true, and 2 that are a lie, and they're all going to be kind of obscure and off the wall, and it's going to be challenging, and basically our guest has to pick which one is actually true.
Right. Do they get a prize?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Always.
Along with the sports trivia thing too? Are we going to?
Yeah. My thing is, the reason I came up with that is not everybody that comes on the show is going to be a big,
sports fan.
sports fanatic.
Yeah,
so
you're probably right.
I don't want to
Well,
make people feel uncomfortable.
Well, I don't know. Being fun to embarrass some guys. Girls.
I'm a sports freak, but you tend to forget as a sports freak that, hey, not the entire world doesn't watch sports.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. I'll get, we just moved to a new area, and it's really hard to make friends when you have young kids, and you can really only make friends with other parents, right?
Yeah.
And you end up having to hang out with your kids' friends' parents, and it doesn't always mesh. And if another dad doesn't follow sports, I'm like, I don't know where to take the conversation.
Right.
And we'll eventually find something. We'll find common ground. But I mean, my opener is always sports. I keep talking about Chris, who's one of our den leaders with Scouts. He actually lives in our development. He shows up. We had an impromptu backyard party with our bounce house this Saturday because it was so nice out. And he shows up with a steel curtain shirt on. And I go, oh, dude. I said, I thought we were going to be friends. I said, he's like, what are you talking about? I said, your shirt. He's like, I haven't watched a game in like 5 years. I'm like, well, that sums up Steelers fans. That sounds about right. So But yeah, that's my opener. Sports is always an opener.
Hey, Adam, and you guys, are we okay here for a little bit longer? Okay, cool. All right. Our producers in the next room here. These guys really are awesome. All Systems Go AV. Shout out to them. Hopefully that'll get us discounted rates over a period of time. So
I think we have to do a little more than that.
do we have to do more than that? Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, we'll do more than that. But, speaking of sponsors, do you want to try another way? Here, let me. Well, no, you're going to be doing them. So,
Well, here, let's just start
Okay.
over and try to fit one in. So let's just sometime in the next 3 minutes as we're talking. Who's our next sponsor, Ernie?
he only brought two with him.
Oh,
There's only
But
two that we
you
have
can
info.
you talk about Dealer World, or Automotive HR, which whatever. So
okay. All right. So we just kind of casually do a casual one, a read into as we're just talking.
right. So I'll get something and then I'll try to like lead you into one sort of thing here. We will have all the stats on downloads and so forth. I think one thing that I found interesting, and advertisers, whether you're a current advertiser of the Max Show or I know we have a couple that are going to be. Stats, and I had this conversation with Michael Cirillo the other day. He said, you got to really be careful with numbers and stats because they're, views could be, I forget what he said, 6 seconds and it's counted as a view.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I thought it was longer than that.
I forget what he said to me. I didn't write it down, but it's,
Okay.
it's a short period of
Really?
time. Yeah.
I thought it was like 10 minutes, 15
Oh,
minutes.
no. I thought it was like a minute, but
Yeah. No, it's seconds.
okay.
So, however, with downloads on the audio portion of it, it's and I'm not going to say this word for word either, but when we're talking to a sponsor, and Michael doesn't base his sponsorship on these numbers, and he suggested that we be careful as well. However, in saying that, if you took, like, we do a show April 29th, look at the number of audio downloads 10 days later. We could say to a sponsor, it will never be less than that. Because when you think about it, it's like people download those, they'll go back and look at your page, and they could look through the guests and say, oh, that guy, I know that guy, I'd like to listen to him. They download that. It could be 2 years later. So you can legitimately say to your advertiser, hey, it's literally there forever. Mm-hmm. Literally forever. Plus, it's never going to be less than this number I give you 10 days after the podcast. Could double, triple, quadruple, could be a million 10 years from now. And it'll always be about your company, which is interesting. I think it was to me at any rate. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So but we'll have those numbers, number of downloads, and then, of course, you can see your Facebook views and, of course, your YouTube views. Did I mention to the people listening, or they're going to be listening, to join our YouTube page, AutoMax Recruiting? Go ahead and subscribe to that, AutoMax Recruiting. Subscribe to our YouTube platform if you would. I'd really appreciate it. And if you have one, let us know, and we will subscribe to yours and do in kind. And also, if you could like or follow us, AutoMax Recruiting on Facebook. AutoMax Recruiting, not AutoMax Recruiting and Training, but AutoMax Recruiting. That would also be appreciated. And if you need us to do something in kind, we will. Speaking about in kind, how about talking about one of the friends of the show?
Well, a friend of the show has been a business that in person that we've known. It's about 10 years now. I would suspect it is with Dealer World and Mr. Troy Spring.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a dealership that's looking for what I'll call a transparent ad agency, somebody who worked in the trenches, somebody that utilizes marketing and advertising structures, which you'll know exactly what your dollar is being spent on, the way in which they go about placing the ads. It's completely clear. There's not something in it for themselves other than on a monthly basis. Yeah, there's an investment, but it's different than the way other ad agencies direct you to place ads at a certain spot because they're getting money back from that. And it may or may not benefit you. You'd like to think it would, but in Troy's case, their suggestions are truly going to be to your benefit. It's a unique system. He's also an advocate of not just digital marketing, which is obviously what everybody is focused on right now, but still print media. He's very good at creating response to print advertising, but it's sophisticated in how he goes about it. So those are some reasons that we've recommended him to dealer clients and suggest that you might take a look at his company as well, Dealer World, and it's on the internet.
Right. Yeah. Troy's up. What an organization! They've grown like crazy. As a matter of fact, I can remember. Do you guys remember reading what Hunter Swift, Troy's vice president in charge of sales, put this conversation out on social media? What was it, a month ago? They were not. They literally were not taking on a client.
Yeah.
Would not. Could not. Would not.
Yeah, knew it wasn't the
Big
right
difference.
thing to do.
Right.
Considering
Because they would not
volume.
be able to keep the same level of excellence for their customer at one more client.
Right.
Now, I happen to know how many clients that they had at the time, and it's just it's a relationship agency. I mean, it's
For sure, yeah.
It's all.
If you follow Troy at all, and you should, he's always hopping all over the country, whether it's in his mobile workstation, which
he's a fancy guy, man.
which is pretty
Sprinter.
stinking cool, man.
Yeah,
Which you got from down at Stephen Toyota, right?
Yes.
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ryan Sodikoff.
yeah.
Down at
Ryan's
Stevens.
going to be on the show.
No kidding.
Yep.
There you
Yep.
go.
He's going to drive up. Be on the
Everybody's
show.
going to be on the show. But yeah, other than that, Troy was just hopping on his plane. We do a client of his out in Idaho. He's all over the place. But yeah, he is a true
What's that client's name? Do you recall?
Conpalis.
Yeah, that's right.
Another amazing human being. That's the other thing. As you know, Troy will obviously give us some leads. Hey, this person needs help with recruiting, and his clients are unbelievable people. Con Paulos introduced John Huey to, I believe, the governor of the state of Idaho.
That's right.
I think it was the governor.
It
I'm not
was.
sure.
It was. Yeah.
So then he gave him another referral to
Southern.
to an RV and marina place.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
You guys bear with me here for a second, because I want to read this. You want to talk about feeling dumb, and John Huey is one of our trainers. It takes a lot to make John Huey feel slighted. He's a very intelligent person and has a serious degree from Purdue University. But I'm going to read up to you this. This isn't one of Troy's clients, but it's a referral from one of Troy's clients across the street from Conpalis Chevrolet in Jerome, Idaho, I believe.
When I saw Idaho, I go, "Oh boy, that's a recipe for failure."
No, we killed it. We
Killed
killed it
it.
at
Both
both
of
of them.
them.
I
Yeah.
know, unreal.
Yeah, no, this
amazing.
guy. Okay, here we go. Fun fact: Lane Harbaugh, and I don't think Lane's listening, but if he is, I apologize. I don't. This needs to be said. Has 3 PhDs: one in aeronautics, one in mechanical engineering, and one in law. Graduated high school when he was 12 years old, and served as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army.
What?
My reply to John was, "God, I'm lazy." I was just like, all right.
Wow.
And now he owns an RV boat and an RV deal.
When
And
he was 12.
yeah, and this isn't some Mickey Mouse operation. Every single sales rep at this store makes 6 figures.
Wow.
Nobody makes less than $100,000 at the store.
Well, I'm drawing a blank right now, and I apologize because I'm going to mention your name here in a minute. The RV store we just did here.
Jamie Dodd.
Jamie Dodd. Jamie wants.
Yeah,
Jamie said yes to being on the show.
Yeah, I know Danielle Burke, one of our recruiters, has developed a good relationship with Jamie, and I know they've talked, and that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Jamie's a cool guy.
I had an awesome text or instant messenger conversation with him. He just, it was like, he's so like, what, you want me on? What do I bring? I said, you kidding me? RV dealers are like awesome business people. We found that to be true for 20 years we've been in business.
Yeah.
It's just they're
A lot more fun.
yeah, yeah,
Not as serious and grouchy and stressed out.
yeah. It seems that way. It's a different world. I mean, the only thing that's similar is they have rubber tires.
Yeah, no,
everything else
they're
is
selling
steering
fun.
wheel.
They're selling, vacations to people who can easily afford vacations
Yeah.
for the most part.
So there's an example how we could break them up, slide into them, and riff off of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for our advertisers. I mean, you're talking about getting your money's worth plus.
It's not
right?
a 30-second, 60-second plug.
And you
It's-
can you can lead into yourself too. So while we were talking there, if you just said, we were talking about the YouTube channel and say, yeah, YouTube is really become a great way to market yourself and market your company. Speaking of marketing, and then go into talking about Troy. So as long as you know what you're preparing to talk about, you can set yourself up too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just so you guys know, and I think we discussed this, but for now, for the first few episodes at least, we're just going to start. So our producers over there will say, give us a wave. Hey, you're live. And then I'll, welcome to the Max Show, blah, blah, blah. Friends of the show. Then you go into your first read and then introduce the guest. And the show started. At some point, and I've seen it done both ways, so I don't know what's right or what's wrong. I would like to have, I think, it costs money, is have artwork up on the screen. And, the way Joe Rogan does it, then it's a goofy thing. It's like a chimp spinning in a circle, and he counts it down from 5. And then bang, he says, we're live. And then then the camera comes on to the guests. So I don't know what's right or what's wrong. I don't know. We'll try this, see how it looks, see what the reaction is, and if we change. It just costs more money. That's
right.
all.
Well, and as we become multimillionaires, we're also going to request licensing rights from some of our favorite bands and see if we can have intro and outro music.
Yeah,
I got my dad
to.
addicted to Dirty Heads Vacation because
I love
it's just
man.
it's
I
just
love
perfect.
it. How about Joanna's son singing it from
Brandon's
editing your
singing it.
videos?
My girls love it too.
That's funny. Permanent. Let's see. I love my vocation. I'm on a permanent vacation
Every single day.
every single day. It's like I want to steal that music so bad.
Yeah, it works for a recruiting company.
It sure does. So the artwork. So they're going to Flex Dealer and Michael Cirilla's company is going to timestamp parts of the show. It depends how many, because there's a cost involved, of course. But and then that will be placed out socially. Okay. So post-production. So after the show, there'll be 3, 4, 5-minute clip of a part of our show, of the shows, and those will just keep going out there. Put to our YouTube page, put to their homepage, and share them socially anywhere.
And is it typically only 4 or 5 minute segments, or would you do like a 10-minute timestamp?
I think Michael had actually mentioned a longer period of time. I have the note written down 2 to 5 minutes. I don't know if that was my suggestion or his.
Yeah, I don't.
But I'll double back with Michael on that. I'm not quite sure. Do you guys see any reason for us to have a laptop in here while we're doing this?
No, I mean
Google.
we would basically just be
Yeah.
Googling, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, let's get challenging here.
Unless-
Let's really
Right.
stick it to Google over here. Think of something challenging that we would want to look.
If you'd want to see the video of something,
I have one that I know the answer
But we
to.
can't really see. I mean, we're not
they
going to show
zoom in
video.
on. They can zoom right in on the laptop.
Well,
the laptop it actually shows like
Right. Adam said at some point, if we want to,
Yeah.
they'll put a screen, a TV up in here, and we could actually do that from a laptop.
Well,
But
okay. Well, on the fly, I don't think there's any reason that we would need one in here.
Neither
If we
do I.
planned ahead, we could see that.
Right. Ask Google. I just happen to know this from something I did the other day. What was Ty Cobb's batting average? I know the answer to this. What was Ty Cobb's batting average in 1911?
Hey Google, what was Ty Cobb's batting average in 1911?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that
That's
yet.
tough, dude.
But I'm trying to learn.
I could get career batting average. Hey Google, what is Ty Cobb's career batting average?
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help.
I'm gonna say
According to Wikipedia, he still holds several records as of the end of the 2018 season, including the highest career batting average and most career batting titles with 11.
What was his average?
That's not very good, Google. Hey Google, what is Ty Cobb's career batting average? You're going to get fired, Google.
Yeah.
Hey Google, what is Ty Cobb's career batting average?
Here is some information from the
Oh.
web that
Hey,
might
Google,
possibly
stop.
help.
I'm going to cut you off, Google.
Yeah, that's the same thing. What else could we ask her?
I was just thinking basic. Hey Google, what is the current U.S. unemployment rate?
The unemployment rate of United States of America was 4.0% in June 2018.
It's up a little.
Yeah.
Ask.
Well, that's June 2018. I
Oh,
don't,
yeah,
it's-
yeah, that's right. Ask her how much student loan debt there is in the U.S. currently.
Hey, Google, what is the current U.S. student loan debt?
According to Wikipedia, The Economist reported in June 2014 that U.S. student loan debt exceeded $1.2 trillion with over 7 million debtors in default.
7 million debtors.
Wow. Wow.
I'm paying mine, everybody.
Dealers, a shout out, anybody that's listening, student loan reimbursement program. You want college graduates? Biggest fear. Their average is, I think it's 38,200 and some change, or just above that, average student loan debt. Biggest fear a college graduate has, if you want to hire college graduates, I would suggest you put together some sort of student loan reimbursement program. All kinds of companies are doing it. Why shouldn't you, if you want that type of person? Extra bonus on that. This is bonus information. 53% of college graduates are females. So, if you want to hire females with a college grad with motivation of student loan debt, sounds good to me. That gives you the opportunity to do that. Women actually graduate more from college. More women graduate from college than men and go longer than men, even if they don't graduate. So that's a little bonus info there for you. Be a pretty good idea to do that. So let me see what else I got here. Foam covers over the mic. Doesn't seem like we need those. Other host engagement, just conversation. Okay,
We got to work our outro.
Yeah.
And we're wrapping up anyway pretty soon.
Yes, we are. We got to get out of here and give these guys. They got to go to work. Who's the camera on during? Okay, we got the cameras. We have 2 cameras in here, so that's cool.
And it's only on the person when they're speaking, or there's like a whole view.
Typically. That's going to be up to them. I mean, they have a switcher in there. It's pretty interesting. It's not an actual TriCaster. It's a switcher with each frame, and they can move that around just by hitting a button. It's interesting. You should take a look at it so we know the technology is. And they got really good stuff here. So it's we definitely picked the right people.
And where are we?
We are in.
Yeah, that was good.
That's good.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That's
I
right.
mean-
All systems go AV. In beautiful Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we're not going to
Let's talk
do
about
that.
food.
Food. Let's talk about food. We're going to have food on the show.
Absolutely. gonna have food
I
on the
think
show.
we're gonna
I'm
be-
gain weight on this show.
That will be. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're probably going to be the only live streaming podcast where we'll be eating in front of people on camera. I've not seen that yet. I've seen people smoke weed. I've seen people drink booze. Elon Musk did both of those on Rogan, and dropped the stock about 10% in a day. But we're going to part of our process pre-booking is going to find out what the guest's favorite fun food is, and have that in here.
Yeah, do our best.
Yeah,
There's enough
within
around
reason.
here.
Yeah, sure, and
I told you first show is, and I think Troy should be all right at this because
Right.
Troy's first guest. Are we?
Yeah.
Did we discuss that? Okay. You've never had Tony Luke's, you said, right? So I want a Tony Luke's platter in here. You've had Tony Luke's,
I
right?
have, sure.
now what is it?
Pork
Sub
sandwiches.
shop.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh.
it's because you always talk about Pat and Gino's, and I make fun of you because that's tourist cheesesteaks.
It is.
But
Whittle
Tony
it
Luke's,
out.
right? But it's not just their cheesesteaks. They do a pork and broccoli rabe that's out of this world.
Yeah.
So that's my vote.
Breakfast
for first
sandwiches are
show.
good.
Breakfast sandwich. I didn't even think of that. Oh, man,
Remember-
right? That's what I'm saying. It's gonna
Speaking
get
of
ugly.
it just popped into my mind. The building we owned in Pleasantville. Remember the breakfast place down the street, Messel's,
I do.
or Essel's, or what was it called? What did I say?
A client called each of us.
He called both of us. I had this. I had this on.
it's
Do not disturb. My do not disturb is not working for some reason.
What is that? What phone do you have?
XR. See, do not disturb.
XR.
On. Allow
And
calls from no one.
Here,
wow,
here. Let's compare size. Size matters.
much bigger.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I need. How much did we pay for that? 1,000?
I have
Is that what that cost?
No, I got a special on it. We just did the monthly, so I really don't know. It was a flat monthly 0%
Oh, that's
for
right.
2
Yeah,
years.
that's how
Do you
they
find
do
that
it
a
now.
pain though to put into pockets other than your pant pocket, like a shirt? Or
It's all right. I find it a pain because I don't like iOS, and I wish I would have stayed on Android. But
Really?
you'll get used to the iOS.
Yeah, it'll get you. Apple.
My
It'll
I'll
come
two
in your
things.
sleep. It
two
goes
things,
in your
and
mind.
and this isn't a big one because you don't have to use Safari. Safari sucks.
I don't
I'm gonna
use
throw
that.
out there.
It just
Safari.
I
pops
use
up every
Google
once in a while.
I
Chrome.
hate Safari.
Me too.
I don't think iMessage is as awesome as everyone
Really?
says it is. Yeah, on my Android messages, I could search through individual text messages
Oh,
for keywords and things of that nature. Nothing here.
no.
Also, the search thing, when you break it down and you hit info, it shows, different types,
Right,
images and attachments.
right.
But the Android one is broken up even more than that into links, images, media. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
only about six months in, and this is my first iOS experience of any kind.
right.
So
Well, I've not had anything from an iPhone
Yeah.
since my Nokia.
yeah,
So I don't have any point of reference, but I don't
it's
know.
fine.
It just,
No, I like it. It's good.
yeah, this 8 is that's not 8 Plus, right? No, it's a 8. The camera's starting to go. It's not taking a picture every time. I got to shut it off, reboot it. But so we have a couple.
Yeah, no, I recommend it.
We probably have half a dozen. What are they called? Upgrades available within our company policy. I think.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah,
was.
mine is definitely due.
What is yours?
This is a 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need an upgrade.
This is-
I'm sure there's one sitting out there. Just reach out if you want. Reach out to Jody or Joanna.
Jody normally gets it done.
Jody does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. Again, watching podcasts, they seem to all end abruptly.
Just ends.
Yeah, they just end. You can
Just
kinda
get to their
feel
time.
it.
Yeah, like we're
and
just
then
done.
with Rogan, he just hey, we just done 2.5 hours. Like, man, it's been great. Thanks so much for being on the show. Reaches over, shakes hands, and bang, headphones come off, and it's done.
So I was going to ask that. So when our guest leaves, we leave. We're not going to talk about the interview itself a little bit.
I don't know. We can do whatever we want.
This is driving me nuts. I should take a call on air.
Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you just leave it be, the guest leaves, the show's over, and then it stands on its own.
I think.
And let people draw their own conclusions from what they heard.
Yeah.
Or like Joe said, is there more to discuss?
I don't know. We could probably only screw it up from there, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Over-
What do you guys think? Guest leaves, could be left on a high note, and then we say something like, okay, well, that just
We're only going
destroyed
to
2
recap
hours.
most likely of what we've heard, right?
I
Yeah.
would think that'd be the only reason to do it.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
My only concern there is if somebody's on a time crunch. We're getting busy, successful people in here.
Right. That's a good point.
If they can only be here for 30, 45 minutes, and the show's 30, 45 minutes, and we're
Right.
done.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's really up to the guest a lot.
So do we want to leave it that way is what I'm saying. That it's absolutely 100% of the time, always. We can have, production outline before we come in. If we know it's somebody who says, hey, I have to be out of here by this time and we're not happy with that, we could keep going.
In that regard, I agree with you. Otherwise, I
Right.
don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, obviously, we'd like to have the guest here like 30 minutes before the show, and we can, just have a little discussion with him,
Okay.
him or her, because we have a lot of women booked for the show too.
I also have to believe anybody that's going to be a guest is going to spend an hour, hour and a half with us without any doubt.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they've all been told up front,
Yeah. It's long
1 to
form.
3 hours. So
Yeah.
I just thought of something. Tony Luke's is medium. I mean, they're local.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd ask them if they want to throw a few bucks to us if we're sitting here eating their food on the air?
can't hurt.
I don't know how we'd go about it. But I mean, it'd have to be someone small like that. But I mean, they
Yeah.
only have, they have what, 3 locations around here, 4
Right.
locations
Yeah.
in West Jersey.
Maybe the
They
free.
have-
maybe
I
that
think
meal would be free.
Yeah, maybe that's what they do.
Yeah, it's just saying, hey, we're gonna be eating your food, talking about it on the air, and
Right.
you know, we could give people a location and stuff. If,
Can't-
you know,
can't-
for
Can't hurt.
free food.
Right.
I like you said, if nothing else, in free food. I kind of I thought of it with Matt Blatt. They do a lot of shows on site at food places. And
Yes.
we're trying to get Matt Greenblatt on our show too.
Right.
But they go to my buddy Ari's place, Tailgaters, down in Galloway, New Jersey, which is
Oh.
Tailgaters plug. Tailgaters is exceptional. Ari is an exceptional restaurant owner. This guy,
I just saw their billboard.
awesome person. He plugs other local, his competitors' restaurants in South Jersey if they do things right. He just talks about what a
interesting.
good company they are and what a good restaurant is. He's just, the food is amazing. Anyway, so they did a show there, and I'm watching it, and it's, you know, obviously it's building brand recognition for the Matt Blatt stores, but at the
Right.
same time, it's a big old plug
Sure.
for Tailgaters.
Of course.
So
Right. And local ESPN does. There are a lot of shows from Matt Blatt.
right,
From their Matt Blatt Studios.
Mike
is what
Gill,
they-
right,
Right. Mike Gill's show. The whatever that's called. Sports.
Sports
Oh, yeah.
Bash.
Right. Sports Bash. Yeah. So
Anti-plug for Mike Gill. Doesn't know what he's talking about.
I've
Oh,
well, I mean, for a local guy, you know, it's like
he blocked me on
He's not-
Twitter a few years back.
really. He's not.
Yeah,
The guys in Cleveland have always been much better.
I think he's awesome.
Shout out to the land.
He's turn on Mike Gill today. I guarantee they are discussing home field advantage for the Phillies in the first round of the playoffs
oh, no question.
today.
Oh,
I
they're
guarantee
3-0
it.
on the way up here. They're over the moon. It's like murderers row. They
Mike-
called them murderers row
Mike
this morning.
Gill will be discussing who starts Game 1 in the ALDS
So
today
it's
on the
just,
air.
well, then they have to talk about the local stuff, and I guess get caught
No,
up.
I'm not talking about the local.
because he's right. You're saying he's just
3
small,
games in on
local.
162.
I'm saying he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, it's for the most part. There's a few guys in Cleveland that are idiots.
Yeah.
Tony Grossi shouldn't be on the air anymore. He's an
Amen.
embarrassment, total
Yeah.
embarrassment to Cleveland sports, and just
Right.
a horrible person.
I follow him on Twitter, and it's like, well, I don't
He's
know
embarrassing.
why.
It's literally embarrassing, and it's to the point where it's like a Colin Cowherd thing, where I think people just hate him so much. That's why
Yeah.
he's just getting any publicity is good publicity. So that's all I can think of. The players don't like him. Baker doesn't like him.
Right.
I mean, they take shots at him. He is.
Did Cowherd actually say the other day that the Lakers
can't
should
even-
trade LeBron for Zion?
I can't
For
even
the
talk.
Zion
He
thing?
makes it so obvious now that he's just looking
he's
for
a hater.
clicks. He's just a
Yes.
total clickbait
Yeah,
artist now,
he
and
is.
it's
true.
embarrassing.
He
The,
is.
the way he
He's
won't back
embarrassing.
off the Baker stuff, it's like, dude, you were wrong. Just say I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
He's good.
Stupid.
I'll let it go.
Yeah.
No. Keeps going. He's gonna wait. He'll wait for him to that one bad mediocre year, and he's like, I told you guys. I
Yep.
told you guys.
Yeah.
It's
He's
only
a
Drew-
bust. He's a bust.
Only Drew Prescott is a good quarterback. That's it.
I know.
Yeah,
In his
right.
eyes.
He sticks
In
with
his eyes.
USC. He sticks with Dallas, and all things LeBron. He follows LeBron everywhere he goes. But yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. He's hard to listen to.
Okay, I don't know. I'm good.
Yeah.
Collect our Himalayan salt lamp, our hats and elephants, and Mr. Softy. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Superman.
Oh, that's Superman?
These are called pop dolls.
Superman's awesome.
The girl. Well, I brought this. The girls bought me for this for me for Father's Day one year, and I pretty much bursted into tears.
Yeah.
Aw.
There's no better super. He's the number
Yeah, and
one
Lego
superhero.
LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay.
Lego LeBron.
Good LeBron, not evil LeBron.
LeBron James.
Lego LeBron.
There it is.
LeBron James.
LeBron James could literally spend every day of his life for the rest of his career doing awful, horrible things and saying horrible things, and he's still A-okay with me. There's nothing this guy can do to sully his standing with me. One night, Father's Day weekend 3 years ago, that was all I ever need from LeBron James, man.
Down 3-1.
I'm
The block.
good to go.
The block. That play, if you watch that play over and over again, which I've probably watched it 20 times, had J.R. Smith not moved, who was it, Iguodala, just slightly over to his right coming down the court, LeBron never makes that block. it was so perfect, and I mean, it was this far. I'm holding my fingers an inch apart from hitting the backboard first. Goal signing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was clean.
it brought that play. Kyrie hit the three.
The
However,
final 2.5 minutes were phenomenal. It's and the basketball purists will watch Kevin Love's defense, and Kevin Love was awful on ball that entire season, and he locked up the greatest isolation basketball player of our generation.
it's unbelievable.
And it's the whole thing. I can't.
It was insane.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah. JR doesn't come on at half and hit. I mean, he hit 2 threes and a 2
Yeah.
to put us ahead of 3 points or whatever. It was, or that game's over.
I told you were sending me updates. Christina and I were at Firefly Music Festival in Delaware. We purchased the tickets way ahead of time and had to go to the concert
Right.
because I had to. But I found out they had a sports bar tent there. So I'm like, all right, we'll go. We can still watch the game. Well, the band we really wanted to see was playing at night. It was Mumford & Sons, but it was on at the same time of the game. And she's like, do you want to go watch? I said, I can't. I'm literally sick to my stomach. I don't want to watch. So I was just getting updates from my phone. I saw they were down 7 at halftime. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's over. Cool.
Yeah.
It's the Warriors.
Right.
So I was like, that was fun. We made it close.
Right.
Yeah, and then you shot me that text. JR, these threes I sent, I showed her the phone. I'm getting chills right now talking about it. I'm like, we got to go. I was like, we got to go right now. So we went to the tent, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it was, I have no idea, but there were probably close to 100 diehard Cleveland sports fans there that took over this little makeshift bar at Firefly Music Festival. So I got to watch it with real fans, and I mean, we were crying. I mean, everybody just lost it. They had to shut down this bar because we started just freaking out.
Right.
Nobody knew what to do. So it's a plastic little bar, and we're smacking the bar.
After the win?
And girls are jumping up and down, standing on top of it. So they shut the generator down for the bar and the lights, and they told everyone, they told us, like, you guys have to leave, you have to go. So they kicked us out. So we all just kind of migrated out. Firefly's out in the middle of nowhere, so we walked across an overpass over Route 1, and they have more bars set up in the parking lot at the Motor Speedway. Right. So we went and did shots there and hung out for a while. I got videos. I lost my mind. I'm just swearing, screaming at everybody. I didn't know what to do.
So excited.
Right.
I couldn't. It was tough to get a call through to anyone in an Ohio area code because all the lines were locked up because everybody was calling everybody. So I'm calling him, calling my brother. Kyle ran around the block a few times. So again, I come back to this guy can do whatever the hell he wants for the rest of his life, and I'm cool.
I agree 100%.
He could go coach University of School up north for years, and I'm okay with it. I don't care.
How
He's
many
gold.
years?
He's gold. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. LeBron James.
Yeah, so that's my other.
Yeah. Yeah. Lego LeBron's cool. And then I got a 59 Corvette sitting here.
It's nice.
So that's nice. The salt lamp, the AutoMax excellent hats. All right.
We should have Google say bye in a language.
That's
hey
good
Google, how do you say goodbye in Chinese Mandarin?
In Chinese China, you would say
再见中文.
Oh,
I picked a good one. Very nice.
Awesome. Good job, Google.
Very nice.
All right, guys. I'm satisfied with everything, and
we're good.
people saying that the sound, the quality is really good. So that's important. So I think we might be onto something there. Okay.
All for it.
We pick good guests. Keep the conversation going. I think we can bring some real value to the audio industry and our friends. I think it'll be really interesting.
And have fun.
Yeah, and have fun.
Everybody have fun. Everybody loosen up a little bit out there.
Right. Life's short, man. Yeah, loosen up. Lose the drama. Tell a joke a day. Post a joke a day on Facebook. I don't know that I could do that.
Heck no.
Smile more often, right?
All right.
For sure.
All right. We love you out
We're
there. Ernie, thank you, my
Sure.
friend.
Thank
Joe, son. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you to our folks, our producers.
All systems go AV.
All systems go AV. All right. That's it. We're out.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye, knuckleheads.